Alright, so we're back. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to finish the mass. So we're working in a mass family right now with all the divisions and the adaptive components. And I'm going to go to finish mass. And so it says it doesn't have any solid volumes, and that's okay. But now I have this mass, and if I go to, and I pick it, it picks the entire piece, right? If I go to my site plan here, and I maximize that, I'm going to come in and I'm going to pick this and I'm going to try to copy it. And if I try to copy it, it'll copy it to the side, but it won't copy it vertically. The reason for this is because if you think about what we have is we created reference planes first, and then we hosted reference lines to those reference planes. And then we created a divide on top of those lines. And then we put an adaptive component on top of that divide and arrayed it. So in order to copy this, we have to copy all the hosts. So I have to window around the reference line, the reference planes, as well as the mass, and then I can copy it. So now I can copy the entire family up there. Okay, so now I've created another family that I can kind of play with. So I'm going to go to my 3D view, and I've got two bridges. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this bridge. Okay, so I'm going to go to Edit in Place, and I'm going to delete the component that's on it, right? And we're going to look at one component, and I'm going to do my best to place it. It's a bit of a bear. I am going to turn down this division to 12, right? So I've changed the division to 12. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and take a look at this diamond bridge solid. And if I edit that family, right, you're going to see this is actually a 12-point family. And it has a solid in the middle, or a void in the middle of a solid. And so what I did was I just created 3 different levels. And the reason I created 3 is so when it won't segment itself when it goes through. It'll actually curve along with the arc. And so let's go ahead and try and place this. So if I go to wireframe, you'll see it a little better. But it just goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I start on the left and work my way around clockwise, then I start over at 5, 6, 7. So it's a little tricky, and see if we can get it. So if I Control Tab back and I drag this guy out, right, I'm going to start here. So 1, and then if I zoom out and I go 2, and I go 3, and I go 4, and I go 5, and I go 6, and I go 7, and I go 8. Oh, I missed 1. All right, it does get a little tricky, so I'm going to hit Escape a couple of times, and I'm going to try it again. So let's try it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And then this one is 7, and that one is 8, and that one is 9, 10, 11, 12. Hey, so look at that. Now we've got that, we can repeat it, right? Oh, except, there we go. So let's see if it goes over. So you see how it goes over the bridge. And you can do the same thing. And you can adjust. You see how it's not filling out the last one? You can adjust the division so it will fill out the last one. It looks like we need another division, maybe. Let's try 13 and see what happens. Apply. It'll add one. Nope, maybe 14. Apply. So there's gotta be. There we go. Okay, so 15 did it, so it split the difference between those two. So now we've got that guy. There's one more that I want to place, and I'll do that when I get, well, I guess we could do it now. Let's go ahead and do it. Let me delete this guy. And the one we're going to place this time is, it's a 8-piece component. So let's go ahead and just try it. So it's not as bad as the 12, but it still can be a little tricky. So I'm going to drag this guy, this one out, and I'm going to start at the same place. 1. And this one's a little bit more complex, and that's going to be 2. Whoop. Except you got to get it. Let's move a little bit. You got to be patient. So if that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, right, and that's 7, and that is 8. Okay, so let's see if that came in correctly. So there's what we have. It's sort of just a little bridge apparatus, and then you can pick that, and you can repeat that, right? And that should repeat in segments. Takes it a while because it's a little bit more complex, right? And there it goes. So now we have sort of this bridge piece that's running across there. So you can kind of work on that. You notice that it doesn't quite finish itself off here. It kind of hangs out there. You can actually go in and take a 2-point tube. Let's take a yellow one. And oh, this one's kind of offset. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this guy to work. So if I delete that guy, let's try this one and see if I can get it to pick there and pick down there, right? And then I can spin around and place another one. So if I create similar, right, I can go from there to there, and from there to there, and from there to there, and kind of finish that off if I want to. So that's just a little 2-point component that, you know, I use to finish it off. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is surfaces, is create surfaces for divided surfaces.